What's going on, people? I want to talk about something a little serious that happened to me last night. It was one of the scariest things in my life because I never experienced it before. And again, it was real scary. You know, I didn't know what to do. So last night I had a panic attack, and I didn't. Again, like I said, I didn't know what this was because I never experienced it. But I did. Like, I was laying down in the bed, you know, just watching TV, you know, relaxed, or so I thought. And as I was laying down, my heart just started beating super duper fast, like out of my chest. And so once I started feeling the beating outside of my chest, I immediately got up because I was laying down, like I was saying. Again, relaxed like I thought, just kicking back. But when that happened, I raised up because, you know, my body goes into a fight, flight, or freeze mode every time. You know what I'm saying? In those situations, for those of you out there who has had what I've had, you know what I'm talking about. It's not easy to calm yourself down so fast. And so again, in the circumstance, me having a panic attack has never happened to me. And so when those things happen, right? When those things happen, it just put me in a bad situation, man. I'm talking about very, very horrible, man. You know, and I just went to a whole panic. You know, I didn't know what to do. My chest is beating super duper fast. So I got up, paced around my bed, walked around my bed like 2 or 3 times, started drinking water to try to help the cause, because they say in a lot of cases that when you drink water, it helps you. But in this case, the water didn't help me. It made it worse. So I was just got up, real frantic, and I started knocking on doors, man, in the house, because everybody was asleep. And this happened around 2 o'clock in the morning. I just started knocking, you know, on doors, you know, trying to get folks up in the house. But, you know, everything happened so quick and so fast, you know, like split second. I was just racing. My mind was racing. Heart was beating out of my chest. So, went to the next best thing, which is my little sister, because she's here visiting. So I went to her because she was in a deep sleep, man. But, you know, in these type of situations, you really don't care who's asleep. You're trying to get people up. And I tapped my little sister. I was like, you know, I tapped her. I was like, you know, call the paramedics. My heart is beating out of my chest. I don't feel right. You know, I told her that. And so she instantly popped up. You know, she popped up out of her sleep, you know, instantly. She got scared. And so she started calling the paramedics. And, you know, she told me to sit down, right? And I was clenching my chest like this, holding my chest. And told me to sit down. She told me to sit down, but I heard her calling the paramedics, and I was just trying to find ways to calm myself down. Because at the time, I didn't know that this panic attack was, at this time I didn't know that it was a panic attack, because I guess panic attacks feels like a heart attack. So when this happened, I sat down, you know, I heard my little sister talking to the people on the phone, you know, asking her a series of questions. And I'm thinking, man, I don't want to hear none of that stuff they was talking about. You know what I'm saying? I was just really hoping that somebody would come, you know, because I was losing my mind, you know, and trying to figure out who's going to come to the rescue, man, you know. Because again, in these type of situations, I don't know, you know, and me doing the things that I was doing made the shit worse. And so, you know, I was just sitting there. So after the lady, I started asking my little sister, you know, stop asking my little sister the question she asked her. She was like, you know, if he's drinking water. She was like, yes, he was drinking water, and she told her, tell him to stop drinking water immediately. I heard that, and so again, so I guess she reiterated what my little sister already said about, you know, sitting down. So I sat down, and I had learned some breathing exercises that I had learned, you know, going to these classes I'll be going to for a good long while. And I was you know, doing that. I closed my eyes like this, and I still was holding on to my chest, and I was practicing breathing. And so during this time, you know, they still sent the paramedic out because, again, you know, I was like that I might have to go to the hospital because I didn't know how I was feeling. It was bad. I'm like, please, they just need to get here so they can let me know what's going on. So I was telling the other people in the household, because they, you know, get my shoes, my phone charger, you know, so I'll be able to have somebody to call, you know, my cell phone, because that if I would have went to the hospital, I wouldn't have had no phone, no charger to charge my phone. And I was like, you know, telling them to get my shoes and socks so I can put them on, or have somebody put them on for me. Everything is get myself prepared. And then they came. And so when the paramedics came, I think it was the paramedics or the fire department. I'm not exactly sure. I want to say it was the paramedics though. They came, you know, asked me what was going on. I told them my heart was beating out of my chest. And you know, just let them know the procedure, what's going on, right? And it was you know, one guy in a hat and another guy that was next. It was his partner, and immediately they start putting hooking me up on these patches, giving me these patches, you know, patching me up everywhere. And I still was asking questions because I wasn't sure what was going on. I was frantic still, even though I was breathing, you know, practicing my breathing methods. I was still frantic. And once he hooked me up, he was telling me, I was like, you know, just letting him know I was thinking that I might have to go to the hospital, you know, after I told him what was going on. He was like, well, you know, we want to see what's going on with you first before we rule out anything. So I let them do their procedure, and during this time, you know, I felt my heart, the palpitations going down. All right, but I still, you know, I wasn't sure about what was going to happen. So I was literally just seeing what was going to happen. He told me, he was like, you know, when they hooked me up with those things, you can't talk, you can't say anything. Just let us take a picture of your heart, and then that reading's going to, you know, go to let me know and determine if, you know, you have to go to the hospital or not. So I sat there and was quiet. The procedure took all of, say, probably 3 or 4 minutes. Sat there and was quiet. And so after that, after my reading, he had after they had got done with my procedure, the man told me, he was like, well, you know, your blood pressures, you know, was 145 or something. I forgot. And then my heart rate was at, I think, at 84. He said it's supposed to be like an 82, but my heart was at an 84. So everything was good. And he was like, you know, you probably just had, he told me, he was like, you probably just had a panic attack. And I was like, oh, really? He was like, yeah. And so from that point on, you know, he just told me that everything looks good on our end, you know. If anything else happens, just call us. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all, you know, I was worried about going to the hospital again because I'm like, damn, I'm already dealing with a lot already with my heart. And here we go again with this, right? From being just perfectly relaxed. And then, boom, this stuff happens. So, yeah, he told me everything was good. And, they left. So I didn't need to go to the hospital. I was kind of, in a sense, I was kind of hoping I didn't have to go because, I mean, like, from a person like myself, excuse me, y'all, I gotta wipe my camera. For a person like myself, who's been fairly healthy my whole entire life, and then all of a sudden going through these issues, I know because I'm getting older, right? And obviously because my diet was, is bad, changing things, slowly. I've already changed things already, but I'm saying implement more. It's like, everything is highlighted. So, yeah, everything was, it was a scary situation, man. I'm quite sure that there's been some of you out there who had what I had. One second, y'all. Yeah. Had to let that, oh, wait a minute. Had to let that bike go by because the motor is, the motor is very loud. But, for a lot of you people, a lot of you guys, what's going on with you, OG? All right. For a lot of people who has gone through what I went through, leave me some comments and let me know if you ever had any experiences dealing with things like this. I'll tell you, man, it's a scary, scary thing. All I can say to you is, if you have it, right? If you know any breathing exercises, please implement them. Right, do whatever you can to calm your situation down because again, yeah, these things, they hurt. I mean, they hurt, but they're very traumatic because again, it's happening to you. And what I forgot to mention, in the process of me having this, in the midst of me having this, is that my left arm was hurting in between this process, and then it went up towards my neck, and my neck got a little bit stiff. It got a little bit stiff from I guess the panic attack. And I was like, I thought instantly I thought about a heart attack because I think people go through things like this when they having stuff like that. Like subtleties that's going on with them. So that's what I thought that was happening to me, man. And I was like, in my mind, I'm thinking the worst. And you're not supposed to think the worst when you go through situations like this. You try to be able to try to find ways to calm yourself down as much as possible. But in this situation, man, you can't really tell. You can't really tell what's going to happen. You can't tell what your reaction is going to be in these situations. So you gotta just roll with the punches, man. And hopefully you could be able to calm down in these circumstances. You know what I'm saying? And just again, I'm emphasizing this with y'all again. If you have situations like this that's dangerous, they're very dangerous, and can be very scary because again, your heart is thumping, very, very hard. Or just say, just practice those breathing exercises. Do whatever you can to minimize your situation, if you could, and I think things will work out for you, in the end to calm down. So yeah, I was able to, I stayed up for a little while after the fact. I didn't go to sleep right then and there because I was still spooked, on what happened. And I basically, after a while, I went to sleep. So I had a decent sleep, and so after that, things was good. So, again, drop your comments down below and let me know if you have some experiences like I had. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one.